Clauses are made of subjects and objects. This is lesson 6 in the Architecture of Grammar. My name is Léandre Larouche. I'm the author of the Architecture of Grammar and founder of Trivium Writing. And in today's video, we're going to go over what goes in clauses. So in the last video, we've talked about the fact that clauses make or break sentences, which is to say that you have a who and you have a what, and this is necessary to a grammatical sentence. However, if you add a conjunction to the who and the what, then you have an independent clause. So that is not sufficient to have a grammatical sentence. So what you need is just the who and the what, and so that tells the whole story versus the dependent clause that doesn't tell the whole story. Now in this video, what we're going to go over is the fact that whether you have a dependent or an independent clause, you always have a who and a what, but this begs the question of what goes in a who and a what. Remember, we've talked about the fact that we have word roles, we have parts of speech, so these are different levels to your sentence. And so now what goes into a clause, whether it is a dependent or an independent? Well, when it comes to the word roles, these are subjects and objects. So let's go over this in today's video. And so the who is your subject. So that is the word role. So I'm going to write subject. So typically subjects are nouns. So nouns, for example, would be, and there are different types of nouns, which you can all find in the tables in the book, The Architecture of Grammar. But for example, Léandre, which is my name, that is a noun. And so a train is another type of noun. Now, I'm not going to go into the distinction in this video. Like I said, you can go in the Architecture of Grammar, find that out. But we're using nouns, and the noun will be used as a subject. Now, the what in the sentence, that is the object. Now, in a lot of sentences, we only have a subject and an object, but we can also have so there are two types of objects, essentially. There is a direct object, which we find in most sentences, but there are also indirect objects. I'm going to add this. And the indirect object is really, when it comes to the question word, it's to whom. So for example, we can have, if we have a sentence with just subject and direct object, we might say Léandre drinks coffee. Léandre is the subject, and the verb or the action is drinks, and coffee is the object, the direct object. So Léandre drinks coffee. But there are some sentences where we give something to someone. For example, Léandre gives the coffee to his girlfriend. So that would be who, what, to whom. So Léandre gives the coffee to his girlfriend. Now, here's the interesting thing about the indirect object. We've talked about this in past videos. You can sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you can move around the blocks, the information blocks. So what we can do here is we can have the who can have the who, to whom, and what. Now, here's where it gets a little complicated. When we say who, that's me, so that's the subject, and this is the indirect object. So Léandre gives his girlfriend the coffee. Now here's the thing. The what is always the action and the object. So the verb and the object. So your what is kind of separated. So maybe a better way to look at it would be who, what, to whom, and then back to what. So Léandre gives his girlfriend a cup of coffee. Because that's the thing about the what. When we're looking at the what, and I'm just going to erase this, your what is made of two things. It's made of a verb, and it's made of a direct object. So these are the two things. So the who is just, the subject, but the what is the verb and the direct object. So there are two components essentially to your what. So that's why the what is a little bit more complicated as an information block. A lot of the other, the other information blocks, they're just one word row. Now, the thing is, as we go through these other lessons, we're going to see that we're dealing with phrases. And the phrases are groups of words that convey meaning. So your who or your what or your to whom could be a phrase, and so it would be different, it would be multiple parts of speech. But this is really, the reason the what is complicated is because these are not multiple parts of speech, these are multiple word rows. So there are two functions inside that information block. So you can see examples and you can work through the exercises in the book, The Architecture of Grammar. So you can grab your copy and start working through these things. I hope that you found this valuable, and I will see you in the next video.